Guys, welcome back. It's RacerX. It is a beautiful Sunday, 70 degrees here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I have a pretty cool little video planned out today with my buddy Rob, who is a Charger 392 owner. I'm actually going to show you a little bit about that car. Very well sorted car. It's beautiful, and you may have seen it in some of my other videos. And today he's actually going to drive this car, and we're going to get his reaction to that. Also, guys, if you are new to the channel, please remember to hit that subscribe button down at the bottom, and feel free to chime in the comments below about what you think about some of this content we have coming out. So guys, stay tuned. On my way to my buddy Rob's house as we speak, and some of you guys may actually be familiar with his car. As I mentioned, it is a Charger 392 car. If you saw my video where I was racing the Scat Pack versus another car at night, that car was his car. It's basically a bolt-on 392 car, but it is beautiful. It is very well maintained. And I tell you what, he's got these brand new wheels, and I'm really looking forward to showing you guys what these wheels look like, because I would love to have a set of these for my car. They're just sick. And this guy's been driving for a long time. Like I say, we're good buddies. Guy knows how to drive, and today he's going to drive this, and I think it's going to be hilarious because this car makes power in such a different way. His car is still a really fast car. I think you get a little bit jaded when you drive a car like this, but nonetheless, he's been kind of ducking me for a little while. I keep telling him, hey, you know, he's actually driven this car before, but he's not driven it since it's had this setup on it. I think he actually ran it in the quarter. He ran like a 10.7 when we were down in Houston, but that was on a 20-inch drag radial, and that was on just my 285 setup, and he was spinning a little bit. It's going to be a completely different experience today. Really looking forward to his reaction and seeing what he thinks about the way that this thing performs on the street with the big tires on the back, making about 200 more horsepower than the last time he drove it. It should be a lot of fun. All right, guys, so here we are, and there is Rob's car right there. We actually came down to a little park down here because we just feel like it's better to kind of showcase the car. But you guys, this is a beautiful car, and I just wanted to take a second and show it to you. I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a walk around here. You can see those wheels. I actually want Rob to tell you about what he's done to this, and I'll actually bring him in here in a second. But you guys, this sucker is, I mean, you want to talk about a really clean car that is just really well sorted. This little 392 car is just beautiful. It's a 2015, and he has really kind of some of the best stuff on this in terms of, I mean, it's not a crazy setup, but in terms of what's done is done very well to this car. And man, it is a really nice package.
It's a 2015 SRT 392 Charger, obviously.
Yeah.
Visually, the most obvious thing is it has a set of just put a set of these BC forged 20 by 9.5 on the front.
BC forged 20 by 9.5 in the front.
20 by 11s on the rear.
Okay.
Wrapped in Michelin Pilot Super Sport 285 35 20s in the front. 295 35 20s.
So
rear.
295 20s, and I'm sorry, what is the it's 295 20, what's the sidewall on it again?
It's 295 35
35.
20.
Okay, but you guys, you can't see it in the footage here, but you won't believe how beautiful these wheels are, how concave that thing is when you just look at it. Let me just take a step back. When you watch this thing drive, guys, this thing is absolutely awesome looking. And of course, he's got some other stuff done around back. So what have you done to the back of the car here? What can you tell me about maybe exhaust and some of the other stuff you've done back here?
I always liked the contrast that the Scat Pack rear spoiler gave to the rear of the Charger, so I took the body colored rear spoiler that came on the SRT stock and replaced it with the Scat Pack spoiler.
So we got a Scat Pack spoiler, and then how about the exhaust? What have you done there? Because you've got black tips like mine.
Yes, I had those tips powder coated gloss black.
Okay.
It's a full stainless works, long tube headers, 1 7/8 primaries to a 3-inch collector to a full 3-inch stainless works catback exhaust.
Full stainless catback. Yeah, that's Stainless Works is the company, and you've got long tubes in there.
Yes, and it's a shame you can't see the exhaust from, you know, up top, because
right.
The exhaust is absolutely beautiful.
From under, yeah, I've seen this car from underneath, guys, and it is just awesome how meticulous he keeps it. And when those long tubes come into the catless mids, and then all the way through that Stainless Works exhaust system, not only does it sound great, but I mean it's immaculate from underneath as well. Really, really sharp looking setup he's got on that. Did go with the sepia interior in here, but as you can see, very, very clean setup.
Car has a Brian Mason ported 6.4 liter,
yeah,
obviously factory intake manifold that
right.
Brian worked his magic on. Has an Arrington Performance carbon fiber cold air intake, which is you know, mainly eye candy more so than anything else. I'm not going to sit here and say that it makes, you know, any big difference in performance.
It is sharp.
Has a Fastman 84 millimeter true bore throttle body.
Yep.
That I also sourced from Mr. Mason. The aforementioned Stainless Works long tube headers, the Speedlogic's catch can, which is just kind of a 101.
Yep.
392 101 deal.
Yeah. Well, Hellcats too, for sure.
It's always a good idea to have a catch can on. The 62 at 117 is its best to date.
1162 out of a naturally aspirated 4,600 pound sedan. Guys, it is just a really, really cool package. But okay, so now that we've taken a look at Rob's car, we're actually going to let Rob pilot that car, this one, my car, and we're going to get his take on what he thinks about the 1,000 horsepower Bravo package Hellcat, and we'll get a couple of reactions from him, and see how it goes. So funny little backstory, guys. The one time that I drove his car on the street, I actually got the worst speeding ticket of my life driving his car. That's awesome! I know! We went down a little ramp, and there was a cop sitting right at the bottom of the ramp just as I goosed it, so he could hear the exhaust on his car.
With half the horsepower,
One time, I drove his car one time and got a 50 mile an hour speeding ticket, and luckily I managed to work it out through a lot of hard work. But anyway, lesson learned. I think we got almost to like 68 miles an hour on that pole. Well, what are your initial thoughts about this thing so far?
I don't know that there's any words. Having been a car guy my whole life, I've never felt anything pull like that.
Well, so how does it compare?
That I was driving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, inside it feels very, you should feel very at home, right? I mean, it feels basically identical to what you're used to driving. But in terms of just performance, like initial tip in, what are your thoughts on that?
Responsive is the understatement of the year. The car, I mean, the power on tap is just, like I said, there's almost no words.
It feels endless, doesn't it?
I mean, even compared to my car, which now, by the way, I'm going to be eternally jaded.
He's not going to want to get back in his car. That's what he told me. He didn't want to drive this because he was scared to get back in his car. But
it's this thing will send you to the asylum.
Asylum. Looks like you're good.
It's just ridiculous.
There you go. There we
I think that we're on the wrong type of road. This should be like a runway.
A runway.
Wow.
Oh man.
Wow. Oh my goodness gracious alive.
You feel
These cars they're just absolute. People can talk all they want about them being boats and being heavy and this, that, and the other. They do exactly what Dodge said they would do, and then some. I mean, it's a great time to be a car guy. Whether you're a 392 guy, whether you're a 50 guy, whether you're, you know, a Mopar guy, a Ford guy, even a Chevy guy. I mean, there's the cars that they're getting cranked out right now they're all really phenomenal. Buddy, thank you for letting me drive this beast.
absolutely.
Wow, what a machine. I mean, I've known it. It's one of those things, kind of like when you try to tell people about going to watch the Top Fuel guys. You can tell them all you want, but until someone actually experiences watching those things go down the track and feeling that 8,000 horsepower rumble in your chest, same thing here. You know, fast cars are fast cars, but until you experience this, especially behind the wheel, it's absolutely mind-boggling, and it's grin-inducing. You know, I mean, it's fantastic.
Hard to describe, isn't it? You kind of just have to experience it. Yeah,
it's definitely an experience.
I think actually what we might do is he's actually never ridden in the car with me driving. We might take it. Yeah, that's how I always like to do it. Find the sweet spot. It's just an average little four-door sedan.
Wow.
It feels different over there, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. When you're not in control, it's a hell of a lot scarier. I think you might have got 70 on that one.
Yep, gentle little roll in.
Every time you hit it, my seatbelt goes 8.
So guys, we had a lot of fun. We drove over to Mexico. Rob got to make a couple of pulls in the car. So anyway, final thoughts on what you think about driving this car versus your 392, which is a very fast car. And you know, so you don't get a chance to drive obviously my car very often. So what are your kind of final thoughts on having driven this finally?
Well, they're just obviously they're in two completely different leagues. You know, the 392 is an absolute sweetheart to drive, whether it be the Charger or the Challenger versions. The car will get you in plenty of trouble plenty quick. This thing will get you it'll get you thrown under the jail.
Under the jail.
It's just absolutely maniacal. And it's I'm amazed at how smooth the pull is. I mean, it's intoxicating. And I don't drink.
Me neither. But this is what I do. This is my adrenaline rush.
It's absolutely the rush, that feeling of acceleration. It's like nothing I've ever experienced before, and I've been a car guy, you know, my whole life. So It's the fastest car I've ever driven by a fairly wide margin.
Anyway, guys, we had an absolute blast. I want to thank Rob for coming along for the ride along and the drive along. And anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, RacerX.